Today, you're going to find out how much I spend monthly since I moved to Spain. Is the minimum wage enough to live in this country? Today, I'm sharing my perspective after living in this country for nearly 7 months since coming from Cuba. And I had to get used to a new economy, a new currency, a new way of living, because my country is totally different and much more complicated. But well, little by little, I learned how to manage myself in this country, which has opened its doors to me, and I am super grateful. Stay tuned. This video will be interesting. How are you? Welcome back. I'm Anita Mateo, Cuban living in Spain. How long has it been, Anita Mateo? How long has it been? You've lived in Spain for almost 7 months. I share my experiences and lessons learned since living in Spain. Well, today I'm bringing you a super interesting video, at least I think so, and it's quite informative. About how much I spend monthly living in Spain, what my fixed and most important expenses are living here in Spain. How have I learned to prepare myself mentally? Coming from Cuba's economy to Spain feels like entering a completely different economic world. At first, it was tough because of the new currency system and expenses. I'm good now, I know everything and have it all figured out. I manage things here really well, so stay tuned for the super interesting video. Before we start, I want you to join me for important shopping. Because honestly, my fridge is empty, completely empty. The only thing I have in there is some yogurt and cheese. I need to buy food, so let's go buy some groceries and see how much it's going to cost me. Because I have to do a pretty big grocery run, and right now I'm here at home all by myself. Well, I'm going to buy the essentials: bread, milk, rice. I'm out of rice, so let's buy some rice. We're buying important things. I'll talk to you properly when we return. So how much do I spend monthly living in Spain? I have my Mercadona bag, so that's where I'm headed. I bought this bag so I won't have to pay for small bags every time I go. And why bought me this one, which is big and my whole shopping fits in there? Let's see if I can fit that in my purse so I don't have to carry the bag. I'm carrying a backpack here because the bag doesn't fit in my purse. Let's go shopping with this little backpack, Phoebe, Mommy Phoebe, because this chicken is a mess. My girl, I'll be back quickly, okay? Don't be sad, Mommy will be back soon. Bye. She looks at me so sadly, as if she's saying, "Take me with you, Mommy." I'm not sure if you've noticed or if I've told you. It's been very sunny in Galicia lately, with no rain for a while. Although Galicia is known for rain, that's mostly in winter. It's true what people were telling me, that in the summer the weather is much nicer and you enjoy it more. Soaking up the sun, let's see if I get some color. Because in Cuba I was much tanner, but since I moved here I'm really pale. That supermarket, the one you see there that says Lidl, that's the one they've told me to shop at because it's a bit cheaper. I've shopped at Lidl, so what's the issue? Look how far it is. It's 2 kilometers away. Walking 2 kilometers, it's super far. So it's a bit hard for me to go to Lidl. That's why it's true there at Lidl. The bread, at least the bread, is much cheaper than at the others. And the meat and all that too. Because I just went, what? To buy? To do some shopping at Lidl to see how it would go, and honestly it was very affordable, I can't deny it. The thing is, it's really far away for me, gentlemen. It's not easy to walk, especially with the bags. Here's why they took away my Mercadona. They just opened a small shopping center here in Carval, which we didn't have before. They opened it on May 8th, it's been less than a month. And so they built a Mercadona here in the shopping center, but much bigger. Let's walk. A big Mercadona, because the one that was close to me was like a small Mercadona, so they removed that one and put this bigger one instead. And now it's farther away from me. And to top it off, I have to come to the mall, where there are so many things, and I end up looking around and spending even more money, honestly. Well, they even opened a McDonald's here, and there wasn't a McDonald's or anything like that here before. I don't really like McDonald's that much, but I like that it's here. They opened a pet store for my Phoebe. I'm already a member and buy little things for Phoebe here. But I do like the big Mercadona. This Heno de Pravia cologne reminds me that in Cuba they once sold a perfume like this too. They don't sell anything anymore, but did they used to sell that? Heno de Pravia. Well, here I am with my shopping bag. For those who are Cuban, you'll understand, I look like I just came back from running errands at the store, but I'm not here to do the shopping. And well, right now I found myself looking like this. I mean, like a follower who follows me on my channel and said hi to me, and I was like, I'm tired. I'm glad people recognize and greet me on the street. With that excitement, every arrival. Do you want to say hi to the people on YouTube? Yes, they from Los Caballeros left me alone, and I don't like being alone at home. I don't like it. Let me take 5, drink some water, and I'll show you what I bought. Guys, you won't believe me, but it's terribly hot here. Look how many degrees it is. It's 22 degrees today. Well, I'm gonna show you what I bought and how much I spent, and this is going to last me quite a while, right? This is like backup shopping for fast-running items. The main thing is, I forgot to buy rice. Oh my goodness, I'll have to go to the market again after recording this video. Why didn't I buy rice? And you know that for a Cuban, rice is essential. Because yesterday I ate pasta, so what am I going to eat today? Today I'm supposed to eat rice, but I bought tacos. No, I won't go since I have tacos. Look, I bought this bag of bread. They're crystal bread. I bought a lot of bread because, well, bread is something that really helps you out. Danish cookies, I'm a fan of these cookies and they really remind me of Cuba because I remember my grandmother had a box of these, but she would put threads and needles and stuff in it. I think I already mentioned that to you in a video once. It's really popular and in many other countries too. But the cookies are delicious. I bought these cherry tomatoes to make them with pasta or something. I also bought some regular salad tomatoes. I bought these mushrooms for pasta too. These are like some yogurts that come like this at Mercadona, and they're really good. Previously, I bought strawberry, this time strawberry and banana. Yes, it says Morango banana. I'm not sure what language that is, but these yogurts are great. And for example, when we're in a hurry, when we have to leave one morning and we don't have time to prepare something else, can we have this? We bought this bread, which is like some whole wheat toast for a snack and stuff. And for breakfast, I like it. Like with olive oil and a little ham, it's delicious. This bread, which is rye bread, this bread is super good, super healthy for people. Fitness. My husband likes this one because, well, he works out and stuff and he likes to eat this bread. Well, I was telling you that I'm not gonna come buy rice because I bought these tortillas to make maybe some tacos or something, and they're whole wheat. Because here we are, people who need to take care of our health. 2 skim milks, those are the ones I'm buying. I bought this after seeing it on TikTok. It's like setting your hair with a little water, but it says it won't leave a greasy feeling. For example, here in Spain, my hair gets greasy really fast. I have to wash my hair every other day, literally. I washed my hair yesterday, but it already feels greasy. It's also very shiny. Not to brag, but my hair really shines. And so, for example, when I want to do a little hairstyle, my hair sticks up like this. They say, I saw this on TikTok, that if you put this on, it leaves your hair super sleek. You know, that really smooth style? So your hair doesn't stick up? I bought these wet wipes. They're really cheap and you get a lot of them. Because when Phoebe comes in from outside, since she loves to climb on the beds, I clean her paws with wet wipes. This purchase cost me, you saw I bought a lot, right? This purchase cost me at 22.37, as you can see, it's pretty good. Well, now let's get to the main point, which is why you came to watch this video. The title is, How Much Do I Spend Monthly? Have you already seen a weekly shopping trip, more or less? How much do I spend? Now let's see how much I spend in an entire month. And well, now let's get to the title of this video. The most important part, which is why many of you are here. And it's how much I spend monthly. I mean, how much do I need each month to live here in Spain? And well, whether you're thinking about emigrating or maybe just out of curiosity, but I imagine that's the case for most people, it's because they want to. Maybe to come to Spain, or to see what expenses are like here in Spain, or maybe to compare with their own countries. And wanting to know is totally normal. I have to say, well, I was lucky. This is my situation. It doesn't have to match anyone else's, and others don't have to be like me. Here, everyone has their own expenses, their own priorities, their own things. What happens? Well, I was also lucky. Since arriving, my rent was covered by my YouTube paychecks. I had my YouTube channel in Spain, since many rentals require paychecks. It's not that easy to get apartments just like that right when you arrive. Because my friend managed my accounts, I could rent this apartment. Many people can't do that. So I had a head start in that regard. I also brought enough savings to buy things for my house. But anyway, I'm going to tell you about the fixed monthly expenses I have here in Spain and how much I think you need to live here each month. A couple. There are 2 of us in the house and we both work. What's the average salary here? And is it possible to live here on an average or minimum salary? Well, here in this planner, I wrote down all my monthly expenses because I forget them, you know? Are there a lot? I came from Cuba, where everything used a different currency and system. That's something that when you move to another country, you kind of have to change your whole way of thinking. When it comes to money, because it's a different kind of money, for example, in Cuba, a salary over there was about 5,000 Cuban pesos, and I would more or less manage my expenses according to that salary. But look, over there, not even with 5,000 Cuban pesos could you pay for even half of the things I pay for here. It's not enough for anything. Even 5,000 Cuban pesos all goes to food and it's still not enough. I don't spend that much money, you know, because I buy things that last me a long time. So, well, it's like you have to... When I got here, I had to change my mindset about money and start learning how to manage myself. Based on the euro, for example, here you earn about 1,200, 1,300 euros, 1,500, something like that. And so I had to start learning how to budget my money. According to those figures, for example, about how much is rent, about how much is electricity, I'm going to tell you about my specific case. So, well, I won't give you too much. Let's get to it. Rent. First of all, rent. Something very important is rent because that's where you're going to live. Whether you share an apartment, many people share an apartment, or you live with your partner. I pay rent for this house in this town, here in Galicia, where I live, 430 euros. This is the biggest expense I have, the one that always worries me the most because it's the most expensive. Imagine if you lived in a city and it was much more expensive. So, well, this is a very cheap rent for this little house that you've seen it and I think it's quite affordable. So that's what I pay for rent, and that's basically the most important money I have to have every month. To make sure I still have a roof over my head, 430 euros. Let's start calculating now. Let's see at the end about how much we spend. I'll also tell you that this is the cost of the bare essentials. It's not like I'm going to tell you now how much I spend on everything. When I go out or anything like that, it's just the minimum I need to live. The other thing I have to pay is health insurance. Since I'm not a citizen or have permanent residency here in Spain, I can't access public healthcare yet, even though there is public healthcare here in Spain. Yes, right? Those who are in Cuba don't believe that story that healthcare is very expensive everywhere in the world. In some countries, yes, but in Spain where I live, there's public healthcare. If you're sick and have no money, you're still covered. Are you going to a public hospital where you'll be cared for? In Cuba, they say only Cuba offers this. Be grateful you live in Cuba, where healthcare and education are free. What about the rest of the world? If you go to a hospital, will they just leave you? What happens there? People say that, but what actually happens? How did we end up here? With a specific type of visa, whether it's a student visa or a tourist visa? However you arrive in Spain, you have to get health insurance for the duration of your stay. So I got health insurance, but I arranged it while I was still in Cuba because that's something essential. It's something they ask for when you come to a new country. I have Sanitas health insurance, which was the one I thought was best, the one they recommended to me, so I'm still with that Sanitas health insurance that I have to pay for. I mean, there are 2 of us and we both pay 80 euros more or less, about 40 something each. That's the total for 2 people. Each of us pays 87.80 for insurance monthly. This is an app, which is the insurance app. In my case, it's the Sanitas app. For example, if I feel sick, I can make a video call and get help that way. I was very surprised when I arrived from Cuba. Another important expense we have here at home, and I imagine in every home, is the phone and the internet. I have fiber, which is like the little device that gives me Wi-Fi at home. I think that's what it is. And also mobile data, I mean the internet, the phone. That's why for 2 people, for this we pay 46.19 euros. It's pretty cheap. I think it's pretty cheap compared to how expensive the internet is in Cuba, the internet in Cuba. I remember you had to buy little packages, at least when I was there. A package of, I don't know, 10 gigabytes. It was very expensive. With fast internet, opening Instagram would use up all your data. Another really important expense here is electricity and water. Electricity, it depends more or less on the appliances you use. It can be expensive or not. For me, it's not expensive. I pay very little for electricity. For electricity, I pay about 40 euros every month. Around that 40 euros is what I pay for electricity. I don't usually use much electricity, honestly. And what about water? It's 4 euros a month, but they usually charge me every 3 months. I usually pay 12 euros, sometimes 10, so about 4 euros a month. And another pretty important expense is gas. For example, in my house, the hot water is heated by gas. And I also use gas for cooking, and more or less. The gas cylinder costs me 21.70 euros, and I have 2 gas cylinders, but I use them, more or less, a gas cylinder. Here it's called a bombona, while Cubans call it a balita de gas. It lasts me about 20 days sometimes, almost a month. I pay a total of 43.4 euros for the 2 gas cylinders. Now let's go, entertainment. I have a Netflix subscription, which I pay 12.99 for because Netflix raised the prices. Why does Netflix raise prices? You can't share passwords anymore because when I first joined, I had my cousin's password, but now Netflix stopped shared passwords and I had to pay for my own. My Netflix and Disney, I paid for them yearly. I paid since I got here. I have Amazon, which is borrowed from my friend now. Those are the main streaming platforms, but I only paid $12.99 monthly for Netflix. I have Spotify Duo, which lets 2 people listen to music since there are 2 of us. But if you have it just for yourself, I think it's 9 euros and something. Now let's discuss an important topic, food. In Cuba, our entire salary and life revolve around it. It's super sad, but it's the truth, it's horrible. And here, honestly, with your salary, you can afford to buy your food and cover your monthly expenses. Around 300 euros, for me that's pretty good because for 2 people, 300 euros. Another expense you usually have is buying clothes, shoes, or going out to eat. Let me sit down because, wow, I sure have been talking a lot, haven't I? Another expense that we Cubans have, I'm not going to include it here because it's not for everyone, but it's an expense that we Cubans have. It's sending money to our family in Cuba because that's also part of, let's lower a little here. That's also part of why we're here, moving forward in the country, and it's to help our family. Most of us Cubans send money or food or suitcases to our families. The suitcase is the most expensive option. The suitcase is super expensive for them. I've only sent 1 suitcase so far, but every month I send my family money and food, and that's an expense. Also, at least we Cubans have that. Maybe you're also from a country facing difficulties and now live in a more prosperous place. I don't know if you do as well, but I imagine you also send money and food to your family. For Cubans, there are options available. I don't know where companies that send food packages get their food. Honestly, and they're very expensive, they're pretty expensive, and it's a big expense that we also have here at home. This was basically the monthly expense that we 2 people, 2 Cubans living in Spain, have living in Galicia, in a village in Galicia. Things are not usually expensive. I took Phoebe out for a walk. She pulls the leash as if she were a strong dog. Well, and here in this beautiful park, walking Phoebe. Every afternoon I take her for a walk since she gets anxious staying inside. I'll say goodbye to you all. Don't forget to subscribe because every Friday we have new videos on this channel if you want to know what life is like for a Cuban woman and her experiences. Here's what I want to share about my new life in Spain. I also have videos about Cuba. Just scroll down to watch them. I also have playlists which I'll leave here in a tag. You can watch them to see how I documented my life in Cuba. Please subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. Remember, we meet here every Friday on YouTube. Sending you a big kiss. I love you all so much. Bye-bye.